Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and this carpet is 40 years old and has very significant pooling and shading all over the place. I cleaned this carpet quite a number of years ago. I think it was nearly 10 years ago I was here last. I think that might have been the last time it was cleaned. But it's got very serious, significant wear in some areas, which is not surprising, but a lady living here, and she has no intention of replacing the carpet because, well, it's a huge job, and especially to deal with all things that have to be addressed, and then she knows that it won't make any difference to the value of the place. The whole place needs a major reno, but she's fine with the way it is. So I'm going to clean it up as much as I can for her, but I can't unwear it. Very significant wear. I'm not actually supposed to move anything, but anyway, let's go to work. This carpet actually is going to brighten up quite a bit, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we'll try and improve things.
All your own work? Do you do all your own work?
Yes. Just me.
That way you know it's getting done properly, right?
That's right.
The people the first guy owned the place, and I was very pleased. And then the next guy, he had just a young guy do it.
Oh, yeah.
And he had drips all over the place and spots, and
did a bad job, eh? Yeah. Well, I can't do that. I got to do a good job every time. And I'm fine doing that.
you work on the west side as well?
Yep. Yeah, crampy. But again, that's where the Centaur shows one of its great strengths with its being configured right now on its smaller size. So this is a 15-inch pad driver, and the base of the machine is 15 inches as well. So that makes it a rather nimble machine for getting into these crampy rooms and everything. And I can run I have a 13-inch pad driver too, which I actually rarely would use, but I find the 15 is just ideal for most of my applications anyway. But, you know, it's just nice to have the what's the word I'm looking for? Options, that's the word. I was using the larger pad driver today, doing a commercial job earlier. So that would have been the 17-inch pad driver. And with a 19-inch pad. So that's the advantage of having this particular machine. It does more than most. Pretty much. Anyway, let's continue on here. The carpet is really brightening up, but it's really very significantly worn here. Boy, it's warm in here. As we age, a lot of people find that they feel the cold more, and so the temperature goes up. And I'm discovering that that's something that's happening to me now. I actually find, especially in the morning, my hands are like ice. I never had that happen before. That's a new development. Huh. I turned 66 and suddenly realized, wait a minute, I'm cold. I'm actually wearing slippers in the house now, something I never did. Stupid old. Now, she mentioned how she had somebody come in and clean the carpet before, and actually the receipt for it was right there. And that was in 2013. Oh my goodness. They charged $126. Oh my goodness. Wow. I wonder why they're out of business. I'm charging $275 to do this today. You know, actually, I think that guy that charged so little, I think he was using the Von Schroeder system. Boy, what a disaster. That is one slow, clumsy, and expensive to operate system. I assure you, I know. The carpet machine, that is a real dog. I should know. My dad used it for years, and it was the first system I ever cleaned with. And then I used other systems. I used the host system, which is a CRB system of the powder. It was actually better, believe it or not. But again, a very expensive top-rate system because the powder. It's like every time we ordered it, we had to order it out of Vancouver. And it was like every time we ordered it, it was $100 or $200 more per pallet. We'd order it in the pallets. We were going through that much. We were actually, I believe, we started in '86. So by the time we got to the late '80s or so, I think we were the largest users of that system in North America. At least that's what I understood at the time. So we had, I think, we had 12 employees at one point there, and 4 vehicles on the road, I guess. We really thought at the time, we really thought we were onto something, and at first it seemed that way, but then we ran into the reality of the situation, which is, although at least theoretically the system is a good system, the biggest problem with it, a couple of problems, you inevitably end up with powder that you can't completely get out of a carpet. It's just the way it works. And when people began to realize that, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I ended up being the guy that was doing a lot of the troubleshooting after the fact, fixing up complaints and whatever. And one of the main complaints was the powder that was having to get pulled out of the carpet, going back and vacuuming the carpet again, or finding it down the vent holes, or kicked up on the furniture, especially when you got employees who aren't as careful as you are. And the other issue was, which fortunately most people didn't realize was happening, was the tip blooming. Oh yeah, it was a thing. And that's when I kind of realized there's a real problem with the CRBs. And it was slow. And it also really bogged down when you got into a lot of spots. You really have to really was if we get into a dining room where there's a lot of spots or whatever, I always knew, oh man, this is going to be a problem. But I did figure out a technique that worked a lot better. I used to take a trigger sprayer, and because they taught us that thou shalt not use water. Although there's water in the powder, it was always about not to use any water. But I realized that what I'd do is I'd hit the spots and stains with the trigger sprayer with hot water on it, and then I clean it, and I found that worked pretty darn well, actually. Definitely better than the way they actually told us to do it. But yeah, it was, and it's a slow system. We used to actually have always 2 guys, work to 2 guys, because a lot of vacuuming involved. Anyway, that was a long time ago. Went from that to steam cleaning, including a truck mount, and then years later, in 1995, I started up Oxy-Dry with this system, because I figured out that this was the way to go. We just had to perfect it, which has been happening over the years. Let's go back to the doorway here. very, very worn up here. Very deteriorated up there. And that's not just soiling, that's considerable degradation of the pile. Much pooling and shading happening up here. And there was a mat sitting there for many years. Well, that's actually cleaning pretty good though. Oh, that's actually looking pretty darn good now. They're almost the same color as this corner here. Oh, nice and slow with the machine, making sure I'm getting dozens and dozens of passes over every inch. The AstroTurf pad is what I'm using, and it scrubs very well with that AstroTurf bristles. That's actually looking pretty good. I mean, all things considered, actually. We're going to run a Iron Man pad on this area, I think. That's actually looking pretty good, you know. I mean, there's certainly wear there, but yeah, not bad. Let's just head down this way a little bit, or at least to the bathroom, I guess. Okay, we're going to take a look at the pad. definitely got a little bit there. Okay. We're going to let you go. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.